Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is a wrap up for March. I'm ready to talk about all the books I read in March. I had about 8 books I read. I had 2 in my Kindle and the rest were physical. The first book I read in the month of March was Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. Love it. This continues with, I can remember their names, Rune Winters and Gideon. This is like the continuation of their story, the love story. I absolutely love this book. The first one was Enemies to Lovers, which this one's kinda Enemies to Lovers, but I just love this. I'm not gonna talk about this book because obviously this is the second book to the Crimson Moth, a duology. But all I can say it was that I really like this one better than the first one. This one has more of that romanticy, the love, it's just really cute. I absolutely loved the ending of this. Obviously this is duology, so this is the last book of the duology, and I feel like the series finished, or the duology finished perfect in my eyes, and I loved it. I rated this a 5-star. The first one I also rated a 5-star, but I honestly love this one better than the first one. But I think both of them are so absolutely good. Great. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it much because I don't want to spoil anything for the first one, but amazing. The second book I read is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, the first book in the Crowns of Anaxa. This is by Carissa Broadbent. I love this. At first, when I started reading this, I was not understanding what this book was about. I was kind of confused. Like, I was confused, but at the same time, I was not bored. So I rated this a 4.75 because I wasn't understanding really the beginning of this. This has to do with vampires. Basically, she's a human living amongst vampires. She got adopted by the vampire king, and then they do like these tournaments. It's the Kajari. It's a legendary tournament held by Goddess of Death herself. So she partners up with like her enemy, which is this another like Enemies to Lovers, and together they are trying to get to like finish the tournament. Yeah, so she's basically a human that's trying to prove something to vampires. And so she goes into these trials in this tournament with her enemy, basically. So this is another Enemy to Lovers, and I absolutely love this book too. Everybody and their mom were talking about how good this book was, and I had it for a while. I just never really got to read it, and finally, I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this was our favorite month of the book. If you haven't joined, go join my Fable. It's free, and we can read together some really amazing books. But this was the one we had for that, and honestly, that's the one that got picked. And if it wouldn't have got picked, I don't think I would have picked it up again, or not again, but like at the moment. Eventually, I would have read it, but this was amazing read. Like I said, I give this a 4.75 just because there was things I didn't understand. Maybe I wasn't so into it at the beginning. And yeah, but love it. The next book I read was The Pen Pal by J.T. Gaysinger. I gave this book a 3 stars. I actually read this in one whole day. The only reason I even picked up this book was because I love the cover and I love the spread edges it has. So I picked it up. I didn't know what this book was about at all. And then I started seeing how good this book was and how everybody was raving about it. Honestly, I was not a fan of it. I was kind of bored. It just had like a lot of spies. Like there was like chapter spies after spies after spies. Like I like spies, but not like every single chapter, or not every single chapter, but like chapter after chapter after chapter, just full of spies. I want to have like a plot to it, you know, like I just feel like it didn't have anything. Like, I wasn't understanding it. Basically, her husband passed away, and she meets this new man, and they like instantly fall in love, and then they're just having like this relationship where there's like so much spice in it. But the ending was like twist. I was like, WTF. That's why it got a 3-star, because of the ending. But honestly, I would have rated this book maybe at 2 stars. But the ending, that's what got me, and the ending was what saved this book for getting 2 star, which I was like, what the hell? But yeah, 3 stars for me. The ending just got me. I thought it was really like surprising for me. This is more like it is a romance, but it could also like be as like a supernatural thing. I hope I didn't give anything away. The next book I read was Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This book got a 3.5. I don't think I've ever read anything like this book. This was just too much. Like, I don't even know how to explain this, but this book was just too much. It was too, I don't know, like I'm Link. Like that's how this book was. It got really slow in some parts for me. Basically, it's about 2 sisters who, or actually 3 sisters, which one of them disappeared many years ago, and nobody really knows what happened to them. And one of the 2 sisters who are alive, they stopped talking to each other because of something that happened in the past with the sister's husband and obviously the sister. And so then when the husband passes, dies, she comes back into the life, and then they discover the husband had like this weird videos, and so then it kind of like brings the past of her sister like questions, and then it connects like basically like the present of her husband and the past of her sister kind of connects together. So they're trying to figure out what happened. There's a lot of girls who disappeared, and they're trying to figure out what happened to them. And then like everything just connects together. The videos, the girls disappearing, and the sister. It's like, I like it. I did like it. I thought it was like a very interesting thriller, mystery, whatever you want to call it. But I just feel like the description of some things were a little bit too much. Like, it was too descriptive. And I thought that was what like I had to put it down so many times because of that. And also I got like super slow in some parts for me, so that's why I got a 3.75. But I did like it. Do I recommend it? I don't know. You just have to like, I don't know if I don't even know if it has trigger warnings, but this book should have trigger warnings, honestly. But maybe you should look it up and see if it has trigger warnings, because I feel like it should. The next book I read is called Beyond the Twilight. I will put a picture somewhere on the screen. This is by DJ King. This was an e-arc sent to me, which she did send me her first book too, which is called Beyond the Twilight, which I absolutely loved. I honestly loved this one way more. I think it was just like the spice and the banter in this was like perfect. We do get a glimpse of the characters in book 1. We do get a glimpse of their like, I guess kind of like in the future, how I don't want to talk much about them because I don't want to spoil anything for the first book if you guys want to go and read that one. But they kind of like take a glimpse into their future and how everything worked out for them. So I love that about him. And then I love how the main character for the first book and this character and the main character for this book, they kind of like switch places, because one, like Tom, he was very like protective, or not protective, but in the way he was very like a father figure to, oh my god, I can't remember the names of the characters from the first book, but to the main character in the first book. And then like they kind of switch roles, and then he's kind of like that figure in this one for Tom. Not saying that he's a father figure, because obviously he's younger than Tom, but it was just like that. And like oh, I'll be right back. My camera is about to die. Let me go change the battery. Okay, fresh new battery. Anyways, like I was saying, kind of changed. I don't even know where I left off, but they kind of change roles. I don't know, it's cute. Like I said, the spies, I loved how she wrote it in this book. The first one, I didn't like it as much. I don't know what it was. I just think like the way she wrote this book was like, it was different. It was my type of book than the first one. the first one was like, he was kind of like a golden retriever. He loved her. He was there for her. And this one, he was kind of like more mean to her. And that's what I like to read. I like to read when obviously like they're kind of like rude. Okay, not that I think that's good. Like that's like I, not that I condone that kind of behavior around in the real world, but in the book, I like it. Obviously, if I see it happening, I'm like, not, I don't like that. But anyways, I loved how this book was written. Absolutely amazing. I did give it 5 stars. And I love Daniela and I love her writing. I thought it was an amazing book and I absolutely loved it. And I cannot wait for the 3rd one. The ending had me like wanting more. Like, it was kind of like a cliffhanger in a way. So I was like, what's gonna happen? I want more. Give me more. One thing I did kind of annoyed me about Hope, which is Tom and Hope were the main characters of this book. It was like, you know, that 3rd act breakup like always happens in the books. She kind of wanted to like he was asking for forgiveness and she didn't want to forgive him. And then when it came like for him not to forgive her, she wanted him to forgive her. Like, she was begging for that forgiveness. But when he was begging, she didn't care for it. So it kind of annoyed me. And I was like, come on, Hope. Like, you're annoying the heck out of me. But I do love that banter. I loved everything about this book. And I want to say I read this book like in a day and a half. Like, that's how much I loved it. Well, I was reading 2 books at the same time. So I probably would have finished it faster if I wasn't reading the other one. But I was like taking turns. I read like a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one. But the other book I was talking about that I read at the same time as Beyond the Twilight, it is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the first book in the Voice of Tommen series. Another 5 stars for me. I cannot tell you guys how much I love this book. I started reading this a while back, but I stopped and I put it on pause because it was like so thick. And then I picked it up again, and it's going to be in one of my videos also, so I will talk more about that in that video. But I do love this. This is about Johnny and Shannon. Shannon moves to this, I think it's Tommen College or something like that, the school, because she was getting bullied at her old school, so she moved to start clean, whatever. And then obviously there's an accident that happened and she meets Johnny, and Johnny after that cannot like let go of her. He's like so obsessed with her, and he kind of like notices that he's falling in love with her, same as Shannon's falling in love with him, but he doesn't want to love her or have a girlfriend or whatever you want to call it, because he is so focused on his rugby. He is like the best at it, and they have him signed somewhere for it, so he's like so obsessed obviously with rugby. And obviously there's stuff's happening in Shannon's house that she doesn't want anybody to find out, so she's going through the struggle, like she's struggling with that also. She's going through that. It's kind of like, I love it, the fact how he is with her, how he's so like loving and with her, giving her like the attention and giving her the love that she needs, that she doesn't get at home. But this book, the ending, obviously there's a 2nd book to it, which I'm gonna read this month of April. The ending of this had me sobbing. Like, I was so upset with this ending. I just can't believe parents would treat their kids like that. Like, I mean, it's kind of triggering for me in some ways, but I just can't believe parents treat kids like that. Like, even like the mom, the choices that she made were absolutely crazy for me. Like, I can't believe a mom, like a mother, would choose stuff like that. Like, would choose somebody else over their own kids. But anyways, I don't want to talk much about it because I don't want to spoil anything on this book, because it's amazing and you should go read it. This was another 5-star read. The next book I read was another arc sent to me by this Sienna Trapp, the author of Coming Home Country. It's going to be somewhere in the screen. This is the 2nd book in the Rust Canyon series. I read the first one. I was picked for an arc for the first arc, which is called I can't remember the name of the first book. It's called Festa Festive Faking. This is the first book in the Rust Canyon series. This one's like a Christmas book and I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And then this one is called Coming Home Country, the Rust Canyon. This is the second book. Basically, this is the characters that we hear about in the first book. This is about, I am so bad with names, so I'm so sorry. I have to look them up. So the guy's name is Tucker, but I can't remember the girl's name. So it's Bex Tucker. I can't remember her actual, is it Rebecca? I can't remember her actual like name, but that was her nickname. If I remember, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But Bex and Tucker, it's their story about, this is a second chance romance. Basically they broke up. There's like a big reason that they broke up, and they don't really tell you. I mean, they tell you like mid-book. So there's a reason they broke up, and she kind of like hates him, or yeah, that's why she left where the, you know, the small town she was from. And so she has to come back because her best friend's getting married, which is the love story and the first book. But I don't want to talk much about it because I don't want to get ruined for you guys. So if you want to go read the first book, it's really great. It is a Christmassy story, so, but I enjoyed it and I loved it so much. But anyways, she comes back to this town, and she like obviously is gonna be a bridesmaid or the maid of honor for her best friend's wedding. And then I think it's Mac and Aspen are the characters in the first book. They're getting married, and Aspen and Bex are best friends. Obviously she's gonna be her bridesmaid. And then Mac and Tucker become like really good friends. They met, obviously I can't really talk about it, you'll find out if you read the first book. But they met and they become really good friends, and then he is his best man, or I think that's what they call it, not man or what, no, his best man. So they have to be together to do like the best maid and the best man of honor stuff. And then she suddenly finds out why they broke up and why he did what he did to her. And so then like sparks start flying, she's confused, and then all this other stuff like start happening that leads to them like to that second chance they get, basically. I think the only reason I gave this book 4-star, because I really did like it, was because I was so confused on how fast we found out about like the reason why everything happened, why they broke up when they were younger, why she hated him so much over it. And it was like this hate that she had for him, and then when she found out, it was like, and it wasn't like, I think it was like maybe 20-30% into the book. It wasn't even halfway through the book, and it was like she was over that hate really quick. Obviously she still loves this man, but I was like, you hated this man for so long, and this is how fast like everything goes. But anyways, and then we find out it was just like the way it was placed. I think it's just because I've never read something like that. Usually we find out what happens towards the end of the book, and then there's a solution to what happened, and then obviously the characters get together. So maybe it was just a placement of how things happened that I didn't like. And I mean, it's not a bad story. I absolutely recommend it, and I loved it. Maybe you'll love it. You'll probably give it a 5 stars of what I did, but I honestly loved this book. Like, in my opinion, I might just bump it up to a 4.5. That's how much I loved it. Like, it's really good. So I might think, instead of putting a 4, I might just bump it up to a 4.5 because I really did like the story. But I think it was just my confusion of how it was placed. That's why I didn't give it a 5 stars. But the first one, loved it. The second one was great also. The last and 8th book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't want to talk much about this because I just made a whole video about this book, and I'm just gonna tell you, thank you to everybody who told me to read this book. I posted on TikTok, and if you don't follow me, I'll be linked down below. Go follow me on TikTok. But I posted on TikTok when I was reading A Court of Thorn and Roses, which is the first one, how it was so slow and boring for me, and everybody told me to keep going, to finish it, because this one gets so much better. And you guys were right. I actually rated this a 4.75. This is obviously the continuation of Feyre and Tamlin and Rhysand and Lucian, like all the friends for the first one. Obviously we meet new characters in here, which I absolutely love them. I don't want to talk much about it because I don't want to ruin, like, give you guys any spoilers. It's snowing hard now. The ending for me was so good. This book is the reason I want to continue the series. I honestly cannot wait for the third one. Basically, this book is more about like the relationship of her and Rhysand, as of like the first one was the relationship of her and Tamlin, which I was team Rhysand since the beginning. I think I said it in the first book. I don't like Tamlin in this book, and I hope I don't like him in the next books because I'm so over Tamlin. Like, I don't like him. I don't want to talk much about it because my video is gonna come out, and it is a spoilers video, so if you haven't seen it, I haven't read this book, then don't go watch it. But if you read it, go watch it. Maybe we can talk together about it, you know. But anyways, absolutely loved it, and I will absolutely continue the series. The reason I gave it a 4.75, it got a little bit slow for me in some parts. That's why I got a 4.75. But I think the ending is what made this book a 4.75, because I was debated into a 4 and a 4.5. And I think in the video I mentioned like the ending usually is what makes it for me for a book. So if it's boring, it gets a lower rating. Maybe if I don't like the ending, it gets a lower rating. The ending usually, if it's that good, that's why it gets a high rating. And I absolutely loved this book. Well, we have come to the end of the video. That is all the books I read for March. I think I had a great reading month, and hopefully this month of April reading goes so much better. I have so many books that I want to read. I don't know if I'll get to all of them. I do have 10 books on my TBR, and I have some other books that I want to read. I don't know if I'll get, like I said, to all of them, but I'm hoping I do. And I wish everybody a great reading month, and leave down in the comments what you're reading, how your TBR is looking, or what you read last month, and what was your favorite book of the last month you read. But thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna leave all my social media down below if you want to go follow me there. That's where I put like a lot of the updates on the videos, like just kind of kind of like post the books I read and stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.